Hi there. If you can hear, like, background noise, that is the rain outside. I wanted to have a chat today. Originally, I was going to do this while painting my nails, but I, like, freaked out, which is so stupid. But I did. I don't know if you can tell, even, but I actually did my hair today and my eyebrows, which are seen as, like, feminine things. So that's why I didn't dare to also put on nail polish. Although you're supposed to do what makes you uncomfortable, because then you will grow as a person. But right now, I just can't, because I feel very self-conscious and it's just a weird day. I'm trans, which I don't really like openly talking about. I made a video on my channel about this before. I feel like I've become a bit more comfortable talking about it online after I started testosterone. I'm 4 months on T now. What was that? Way I meant to say. Yeah, I feel kind of more comfortable talking about it, but not to a huge extent. So like still saying out loud that I'm trans like kind of freaks me out, because I'm scared that if people like know that I'm trans, they will see me as a girl. And as I said, I've talked about this before. But I just kind of want to talk about my relationship to femininity as a trans guy. Pre-transition, I'll stop there. I was a very feminine person to some extent. Like that was because I thought that the more feminine I was and the prettier I made myself to be, like the more I put on makeup and dresses and stuff like that, I thought I would love myself more. I thought I would finally feel and be beautiful. Because my self-confidence was just, it was so bad. Like, it was really, really bad. And then later, I realized, like, oh, shoot, the reason I don't like myself is not because I don't think I'm beautiful enough, but it's because I don't fit in as a girl. I don't feel comfortable in that role. And once I started transitioning, I started to feel more, it sounds cheesy, but I started to feel more like myself. And just calmer, just much more calm instead of being stressed about how I look all the time, which I still do, but now it's not really related to that. Like, it's different. But I also put on dresses and like did makeup and stuff like that because like I like to do it. Like, I'm not going to lie, like I actually liked it. I'm not that stereotypical trans guy who like knew since he was 3 and was the biggest tomboy. I was a tomboy when I was younger, but then I kind of transitioned into being this very feminine girl, essentially. I liked fashion, and I still like fashion. Like, I still like girls' fashion. Like, I'll go into H&M and just look at all the pretty stuff and be like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like, oh, that dress looks really nice, or that and that would look pretty together. And I don't really talk about that on my channel, because it's kind of scary to talk about stuff like that online. But when I started transitioning, my social transition, I obviously wanted to be seen as a boy, because I figured that's what I feel comfortable being seen as. And it wasn't like that right away. First I identified as gender fluid, then I identified as gender queer, then agender, and then I don't know what my gender is, and then demi-boy, and then finally, I just say that I'm a guy. Like, if you were to really follow definitions on Tumblr and stuff like that, I guess I would be like some kind of like non-binary thing, masculine non-binary, but I personally don't identify as that, because just my view of gender has shifted. Because I used to define it by like personality and gender expression and stuff like that. Because I'm not the most masculine of men, I really am not. But then I kind of realised that I could be a boy on my own terms, and that's just how I feel comfortable being addressed and seen in society. It wasn't even always like that. Like, in the beginning, I felt very weird being addressed as a boy, because I felt like I didn't feel like the other boys. I felt like boys were stereotypically these like kind of big humans who were really sporty and kind of smelled a little bit. No, like, I'm not trying to be mean, but like, you know, you imagine the very stereotypical masculine guy, and I was like, I'm not like that. I'm not like stereotypical teenage guys. But then again, I realized that like I don't need to be. I can just be me, and I can be a feminine gay guy if I want, and that's fine. And I'm not trying to say that like all non-binary people should just realise that they're actually a boy, but they're a feminine boy. That's not what I'm saying, but that's just what happened to me. But at the beginning of my transition, I wanted so badly to be seen as a boy. The harder I tried to be seen as a guy, when people didn't see me as a guy, like, it hurt more and more, because I tried so hard. And then I met this guy online who was, admittedly, a lot older than me, and he wanted to teach me how to be a guy. And in the beginning, like, well, I did think that it was kind of problematic. I was like, oh, and I was like, you can't teach me how to be a guy because all guys are different and stuff like that. But at the same time, I really appreciated it because I just wanted to be seen as a guy. So he started to kind of pick apart my personality and how I express myself and my mannerisms, basically saying like, you have to do this, not this. Like, I remember I would yawn like this. Okay, I didn't want to show the whole world my mouth. Oh shoot. And then he was like, no, don't do that, like, don't cover your mouth, take up space, you're a man, and stuff like that. And how I walked and how I sat and how I dressed and how I speak with my hands a lot, and he was like, don't do that, and like, take up space. And then he started getting like really kind of sexist, but he said, it's just the way it is, like, guys kind of in society, they are like bigger than girls, and they are kind of the dominant ones, and like essentially saying that girls aren't as good, and that the man is at the top. And I was like, don't say that. But yeah, after a bit, I did start to realise that this is very problematic, and I started to feel really bad, because I would wear like snapbacks and stuff like that, and filling my eyebrows like I actually did today, but like, I did it to look more masculine, and I just started kind of acting in a way that I wouldn't naturally act, but I did it because I wanted to be seen as a guy, and I wanted to be as guy as possible, if that makes sense. But it started to feel really, really wrong, because that's not who I am. But being seen as a girl really, really hurts. But still, like, it didn't feel like me. After a bit, I started to kind of, when I had come out to everyone, and everyone just addressed me as Kovu and he, him pronouns and boy and stuff, I started to feel kind of more comfortable, a little bit. Not really, that's kind of a lie. It was when I met my ex-boyfriend, who, he used to always paint his nails, and he kind of showed me that it's okay to be a feminine guy, and he just kind of transformed my view on that, and he helped me so much. I don't know if he's watching this, but I love you, like, thank you for that. And yeah, so that really, really helped. And then I finally started testosterone 4 months ago. After that, I've kind of felt like I can experiment more with the feminine side of me, and that's why I finally did the boy to girl transformation video, because I felt like I was finally in a place where I was able to do that, because again, I really like fashion, I love theatre, I've always loved it, I've always loved dressing up and playing characters and stuff like that, and I'm really fascinated by drag. I've wanted to do it for a very long time, but I just felt like now that my voice has dropped and my face has changed a bit, and my overall, well, at least my mom says that my overall body has gotten more like, kind of like that, I felt like I was in a place where I was able to do it, because dysphoria wasn't as bad anymore, and I felt like people just saw me as a guy, so dressing up as a girl wouldn't make people think that I was actually a girl. And after posting that video, my ex-boyfriend texted me, and he was like, I'm so proud of you for putting out that video, it must have taken a lot of guts, because he knows how much I've struggled with my femininity. Like, I used to suppress that so much, and it felt awful, like, it felt absolutely awful, because I wasn't being me, and I think that's partially why I'm scared to tell people that I'm trans, because I'm also, my sexual orientation is kind of like, I don't know how to label it anymore, but like, I'm very much into guys. Those are the people that I usually get into relationships with, and I was scared that, like, if they knew I was trans and also knew I was gay and stuff, they wouldn't take me seriously as a guy, and they would just see me as actually a girl. So that's why I don't like telling people that I'm trans, and would rather just go to Pride as gay. Oh yeah, and on my latest video, I was expecting to get comments like this, but I did get some comments that were like, oh, you're trans, like first you went from female to male and now you're doing like a boy to girl transformation. This one comment was like, I used to support you, but now I'm just worried about you going on testosterone because as a trans person you shouldn't be able to do drag. Essentially it should make you feel dysphoric, and this means that you don't have dysphoria and I don't support you anymore, and I'm just worried about you going on T and stuff like that. Which was a really weird comment. It kind of annoyed me a bit. I didn't want it to annoy me, but it did annoy me because it was kind of like, you're saying that after all these years of intense dysphoria, now that I'm finally over that, like I still can't do drag just because I'm a trans guy, when I'm finally in a place where like I feel okay, for the most part. Like I still can't do that just because I'm cis, and yeah, it really, it didn't get to me that much, but a little bit. It did annoy me a little bit. Someone asked me, like, what do you think of trans trenders? I watched a video the other day that was really good that talked about it, and that, like, probably most people are called trans trenders are just likely people who are experimenting with the gender and questioning and stuff like that, and I think we should give them room to do that. I was gonna say that, like, I'm sure some people, like, thought I was a transgender in my latest video where I dressed up as a girl, because I'm a kind of feminine trans guy, and I don't think that's right. Like, if someone doesn't fit the mold of what a trans person is, that we call them a transgender, and if people really are faking being trans for attention, then that sucks, but I think that some people just are also misunderstood. So I also wanted to make a point about, I get a lot of comments on the internet about, like, people supposedly looking up to me for, like, knowing who I am and that I've figured myself out and that I'm so confident in who I am and stuff like that, which has always confused me, because that's not the case. Like, I would like to think that I know kind of who I am, now that I'm on testosterone and stuff. I like to think I know what I want to biologically look like, or I want to physically look like. I like to think I know that about myself, but like, who I am, I'm 16, like, I turned 17 in September. I am so young. I have no idea who I am. I don't really know what I want to do. I'm just like, in the sense of, like, my, or not in the sense, but when it comes to my gender expression, like, I don't even know what's going on there, because perhaps when I keep going through male puberty, I will become more and more feminine. I don't know. I will try out stuff, and some stuff I will like, and some stuff I will not like, and I'm just, I don't know, I'm so young, and I'm so, like, not confident. So it's really weird when people tell me that I come off as confident online, but I only show you guys what I want to show you. But it's like, as soon as I do something that's kind of outside of my comfort zone, like, I freak out. Like, even if it's something as simple as, like, doing my hair or filling in my eyebrows, which is seen as feminine, I'm just so scared that people will see me as something that I'm not. Someone asked me, do you ever question yourself, or have you ever questioned yourself? I have questioned myself so much, like, so much throughout my transition. And I think that's very normal, because these are big, like, it's a big deal. Like, physical transition, medical transition, that's a big deal. Just coming out, that's a big deal. It's scary. And if you do take it super lightly and just rush through your transition being very careless, like, I don't think that's healthy. But, like, if you do question yourself to the point where you're like, I actually think this will make you make me uncomfortable, it's not the right choice. Don't go through with it. But yes, I have questioned myself a lot, but I think the reason why partially is because I was so scared that I would regret it and go back, and I felt like I had to be this thing. I had to be trans because I had come out to everyone. I was on my way to medically transition, and even before I came out to people, I felt like it would be a mess if I figured out that I wasn't, because then I would question myself all over again, and then I would be super stressed out, because, like, finding out your gender when you're questioning it, like, when you're in that state of mind, like, that's really confusing and that's really stressful. But now I don't really question myself anymore like that, because I've come to a place where, like, what matters to me now is just, it's not being as trans as possible, it's being as me as possible. And that's also why I'm kind of trying to, that's why I'm letting my feminine side come out more, because I didn't step out of one box to step right into another, right? Like, transition shouldn't be about being super trans, it should be about being super you. And whatever you want to do, you should do it, as long as you're happy. Like, that's what matters. And that's what I think now, like, as long as I'm living my life and feeling happy and like myself and like I'm being authentic, then that's all that matters. I don't care what label I identify as. Like, if I find out I'm non-binary, great, I'll be non-binary then. And if I go back and decide I want to be a girl, then cool, I'll do that. Like, of course, it will be kind of like a hassle to come out to everyone again, have to explain myself to you guys. A lot of people will be confused, I'm sure. I doubt this is going to happen, but I'm just saying if. And, like, if I were to try and pass as a girl again, then of course, like, me being on testosterone would kind of be difficult to fix. But some people, I watched a lot of, like, detransition videos, and some people have gotten to a point where, like, they do pass and stuff like that. So this is kind of scary to say online, because now I'm sure some people will be like, oh yeah, you're a trans-trender or something like that. But it's not that. Like, right now, I am a guy. I want to live my life as a boy. I want everyone to see me as a boy, and I want to be able to express myself however I want to. Like, there are feminine cis guys, and there can also be feminine trans guys, and it should be fine. But I'm just saying that if I get to a point where I want to go back, or I want to identify, or I do identify as something else, then, like, that's fine. I don't want to stress about labels anymore, and I don't want to stress about femininity and masculinity anymore. Which I know is easier said than done, because I'm kind of struggling with that right now. But I don't know, I want to just not care about how other people see me. But at least now I don't really care about how I see myself. You know, like, I don't feel like I have to be anything. Of course, there are expectations that people had and that I have had to myself, but I'll just go with it, you know? It's cool, and right now I'm happy. So, and I'm happy with changes in my body and stuff like that, so far so good. And I'm not saying that you should take transition lightly, because you shouldn't. You should get a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. Even then, some, like, medical professionals can mess up, but you should see someone. You should not just, like, jump into it being like, whatever happens, happens. Like, don't do that. But, you know, like, you shouldn't feel like you have to be something, you know? So, yeah, that's my little rant of the day. I'm going to go now, because this is very long, but I hope you like this video. Leave me your thoughts down below. If you want more talky videos like this, let me know that as well. I just kind of felt like talking about it right now. So yeah, gender expression can be fluid. I'm sure even gender can be fluid, because when I was younger I didn't really, I mean, I identified as a girl at the time, and at one point I didn't feel comfortable being addressed as either a boy or a girl, but now I know what I feel comfortable being addressed as. I don't know. Confusing times. It's 2018. Just let people be and express yourself. That's all I'm gonna say. Stay safe and eat, drink, and do not hurt yourselves, and remember that you're worth so much more than you could ever realize. Seriously, thank you so much for watching, and sorry for another super long video. Okay, I love you, and take care. And thank you for always being there for me and listening. Okay, goodbye! Hooray, where's the off button?